Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Palman, Dutch Dr. Speed Selling. This is Raging Verbalist number 333. It's a little synergy to that. And if you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, glad that you're here. Always hit that like and subscribe button, notifications if you want to do and be annoyed by those. But anyway, we're here every Friday. Can catch us on YouTube, also on Facebook. My Facebook group is Position to Win Book, Position to Win Book, just in case you didn't know that. Of course, here's the book. So, all right. So let's dive into our topic at hand and how we got here today. Again, I am a guy who, hang on a second, I'm just going to do something that I've always talked that we need to do. And I'll be describing what that is and why that's important. Okay. So last week I started talking about, or last session I started talking about the Wispr Flow. And this is trouble in paradise because I've actually been using Wispr Flow and seeing how well it worked and how it didn't work and what I learned and didn't learn. And if you want to go back and watch that one, that's fine. But let me just kind of bring you up to speed. So what's it like to use Wispr Flow for a week? Because see, everybody will tell you that things work well and you don't have to worry about this. And you talk, it types, it's all good. Now, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've done some real serious work on this because this is the kind of software, this is the kind of thing that I actually live with and use. So what happens when the software hits the fan? Now, the reality is that software absolutely never, ever, ever, ever lives up to the hype of the demo. The demos are impressive and they're running lots of ads and all of that good stuff. And I bought into it. I want to believe, I'm a believer. But the reality of it is that, sometimes it doesn't work the way we want it to. So I'm going to give you some straight answers to this and also explain to you why some of the silliness that people have about thinking about what they need to get transcription for. Okay. All right. So here's my update on Wispr Flow. In just over 1 week, I've dictated over 16,400 words. So it's not like I'm doing, hi, Bob, let's do lunch next Tuesday. Really? I mean, you need something to do that for you. Well, yeah, I guess it's good. You can talk faster. I can talk a lot faster than I can type. That's for damn sure. Also, as I will point out, the best part about it is that if it actually understands what you're saying, you don't have to be a spelling expert, which I am definitely not. So that's a good thing. Now, so the good is for small snippets and other little pieces, it seems to be working exceptionally well. And if you make a boo-boo and you have to go back and have it tweak things or something, it seems to pick those up pretty well. And that seems to work just fine. In fact, there was a famous podcasting service that said, hey, all you have to do is do your thing. And then when you need to edit it, you can go in and it's so cool. You can just, clean it up by the transcript. Problem is I never could get their technical people to answer some very fundamental questions, plus too many limitations. I talk a lot, so I'm the raging verbalist, right? So the good part is that that seemed to work really well, and I'm happy about that. Now the bad is that the interaction with other software has some potential problems, and I don't know exactly what those are because, well, that's the kind of stuff you don't put on the website. You don't tell people what's going on, and therefore you're like, well, yeah, you get to run into these things and you learn about them as you hit them. Like, I don't know how long the buffer space is or whatever they call it, because I can talk for a really long time. I do Speed Start Monday. I've done 1,122 episodes of that, and I basically turn on and talk, and other than once in a while having a glitch or hitch or something, I talked for 1 hour solid. So can we do that? Could you do that? I don't know. I'm not even, well, I haven't even thought about trying now. So that's the reality that you got to deal with. So that's okay. And what is the interaction with software and what happens? Because there's lots of things going on a modern piece of a kit, right? I mean, the iPhone is doing, a dozen different things. You get notifications, you got to get those, the alpaca socks promotion shit comes through. Does that blow you out? What does it do? Don't know. Don't want to find out because again, when I say something, say when I watch the demos, These are people who are moving from being good at typing their thoughts to now speaking their thoughts. When I say something and somebody says, "Can you say it again?" in all likelihood, the answer is no. There's a glitch. Okay. So when I do that, okay, when I say it, I don't know if I'm going to remember how I exactly said it because I'm a verbalist. I'm not a, I'm a talk to think person, not a think to talk person. So that changes how that's going to be used. Okay. Now, the ugly is it appears that everyone is talking about how fast you can dictate, not how fucking accurate it has to be. And yes, I use that word explicitly. I swear a lot. I use lots of different language. I use everything from simple language to very complicated wording. I have an extensive vocabulary, and I also use a lot of street profanity. So I want to be able to do what I want to do. One of the first things that happened with Siri is that if you said the F word, it couldn't figure it out. So I ended up having to deal with that, and that's ridiculous. Well, seems like these guys are okay, though I just did one recently where I said the word shit and it did sh asterisk t, which would mean if I was doing it in a book passage or an article or a blog, I'd have to go out and fix that. I don't want to fix that. So, and let's talk about how fast. I want it so it can also be very slow. See, I can turn on a recorder and not when I'm performing. Performing is different than doing work where I'm writing. And that's where, by the way, the whole idea of the Raging Verbalist came from, is that I like to tell stories. And sometimes, especially if I'm doing it by myself and being creative, and this, I've had to teach myself how to do this because I would end up where I would try to go write something solo and it was no go because I didn't have an audience. So I had to work at creating an environment, which I've done successfully. Pointed out that we did actually get a book out. And yes, we did a collaboration, but then I also did some stuff by myself and Gabe did things by himself. But the point is that can it actually transcribe at two words a minute, not 160? Because oftentimes it needs kind of a rhythm and a roll and a bada bing, bada boom. It has to sound like, James Caan in The Godfather. Now I want to be able to go slow or fast and have it work. So we'll see that. Now, I had, after I optimistically talked about this, so Murphy always rides for free, as you should know. And what happened is that I'm working on a project and I needed to record kind of a summary cover letter, but it would be turned into other things too. So I just decided instead of trying to have, because I was there with my wife, she knows the stories kind of, but she didn't know how I was going to say it. And I thought I put it on correctly, Apple Notes, hit the record, here we're going. And I spoke for God knows how many minutes. And when I went to stop it, it didn't record anything. And that's why I call it a fucking disaster of Wispr Flow, because I had a very important thought process that was going through my brain and I wanted to do that. And I did this, hey, look, mom, no hands, and dictated, what my wife would say was absolutely perfect, but it turned out I didn't get a fucking syllable, not one. I still don't know why that happened, other than the fact that since you can't see that is actually doing transcription, doesn't give you that feedback while you're doing it. And I understand it because, it's only so much processing it has. And all it has is this blinking cursor, which is, of course, mocking you. You end up, with the, okay, let's try it and see what happened. It was no dice. And I don't know if I ever get that same level of motivation again, which then drives into my head something that I learned from Dave Freeze. Dave, who's out there, shout out to Dave, is that one is none. And anything important, you must have a backup. See backup. See, this is my backup. I bought this recording device, not because other things can't record it, but because this little gizmo charged up, working, bang, it works, and it's doing it right now. So my Sony is an example, and my adamant statement is that one must have a backup recording so that if the system goes and shits the bed, which is the right way to say it, you have captured your thoughts, because it is, having it write an email may be cool, but, I don't know. Is that really a thing? I still don't know the limitations and haven't found out a way to figure them out. But from now on, I will record everything twice to make sure I have a backup and all of that. Now, we can keep going, and I will, in fact, point out to you an important thing. This seems to be working better than other things. It's a work in progress, so you got to kind of suck it up and deal with it. And will I sign up for the full-blown pro version that I'm going to be paying for? Yes, I will right now, yes. But my biggest concern, of course, is that anybody who says that there is an unlimited number of anything, they don't ever take me into an account. And I've got story after story after story of where I signed up for things that were unlimited, like this will be unlimited. By the way, the reason why the podcasting guys turned out to be crap, because they said, well, we'll give you 1,000 minutes. That should be a lot. What is that? 1,000 minutes. Get out of here. Get out of here. So I've had people ask me about unlimited everything. Well, they supposedly is unlimited, so we're going to test it. We'll see how long they go before they cry uncle, because, though I only got 16,400 and change words out the last go round, we'll see how far I go as I get real serious about this, because I talk a lot. So my final thoughts is I've recorded this script entirely via Wispr Flow, and I have to say it's worked pretty well. However, I'm very much aware that I have to control the environment to make sure that it doesn't crap out on me. And time will tell how useful Wispr Flow really will be. So would I say buy it? Yes. However, you better plan that you have a backup, backup, and also know that it's a work in progress. They're spending a lot of money on advertising, a lot of money in hyping. That always worries me. And whenever somebody says unlimited, well, all I can tell you is lots of luck. Now, for those of you out there who want to be successful in business, before we go, just want to do a quick reminder, which is go to positiontowinbook.com, and check out my book. Most businesses fail the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize that position to win. And go out there and get that, and make sure you have a much higher probability of winning in the world, in the market, in what goes on. And until next time, this has been John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling, the Raging Verbalist, and we'll be seeing how well Wispr Flow keeps going. And I'll give you updates here and there as we go along and see what's going to happen. The bottom line is that it is working better than other things. We'll see how well it works, and does it get me the productivity boost and pay for itself every single day. Until next time, be good, be successful, and keep on working on your business.